Well, good Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us on 10 Tampa Bay Plus. As we're going to talk about the potential for flooding and the potential for a tropical system, and it's all linked. Our forecast is going to be another wet one. Oh, yesterday was a wet one, so we did see some areas get to 2 to 4 to 6 inches of rain. And of course, there in Polk County, 10 inches of rain within 3 hours. So there is a lot of moisture out there, and we're expecting the potential for some heavy rain again today. Take a look at your satellite radar, and you see right now up Orlando, Daytona Beach area, that's where you're starting to see that circulation come through. So here's the setup, and here's what's causing all of it is that area of low pressure. Now, high pressure was a little closer to us yesterday. It did keep with those two so close together. We have counterclockwise circulation around the low, clockwise circulation around the high. It pushed all of that moisture into the area. Now you see a little bit more offshore for the day today, but we are still expecting that circulation to come down and through the area as we go throughout the afternoon. So of course, the reason why we're here, weather impact alert again for the day today for that potential for the heavy rain. Again, things are quiet right now, but as we go throughout your afternoon, especially unfortunately, as we get closer to that evening commute, that's when it hit yesterday. Had that line of strong storms move their way through, had some gusting winds, and again, had plenty of rain across the area. We're looking at about that same timing. Widespread storms from about 4 to 10. And again, the biggest impact is going to be the flooding, but we still have the potential for those gusting winds. Luckily, that tornado threat is up towards the north. They actually have a tornado warning up near, due to, again, that onshore with that low. That's up near Daytona Beach, but not expecting that in our area. But again, it's really going to be a lot of wind and a lot of rain. So look at the expected rainfall as we have throughout the course of the next couple days, especially today up towards the north, and that's because that is going to be the track of the low. So expect a little bit more up along the Nature Coast and maybe northern Polk County, but again, we're still going to get those storms that are going to be pushing their way through, and that is going to give us that potential for flooding. So let's take a look again at our Futurecast, and that's what you're going to see. So there's what you're seeing on the radar right now. Of course, it's Orlando, north of Palm Bay, up towards Daytona Beach. And as that low pushes its way to the west, a lot of that heavy rain is going to stay up on the north side of that low. So you see up near Crystal River, and then you'll see just kind of filling in down to the south. We have a lot of heat, we have a lot of humidity, and we have that moisture circulating its way around. Now, as we go throughout your late afternoon, evening, already expecting that low to be offshore. So we'll gradually get that shift of the wind, and you can see it coming up out of the south. So there's your potential again, unfortunately, through that evening commute of seeing that heavy rain across the area. And this is where you could get 2, 3, 4 inches per hour of these rainfall rates. And again, that's what added up to that 10 inches yesterday. So you see there about 9 o'clock, we start to see it pushing offshore. And again, by 10, we look good. Now, we're not going to completely dry out by 10. We could still see a few storms, 10, 11, maybe up to about midnight. And then it looks like we're going to pretty much dry out as we go throughout the overnight, just to fire it right back up tomorrow. Now remember, tomorrow that low is going to be off the west coast. So we're going to get that flow out of the south and southeast, and that's going to bring the moisture up into the area. So again, today we're looking at starting off at dropping down from the north. Yesterday we had that big line drop through from the northeast. Tomorrow it's going to be up from the south, and you know, it brings that tropical moisture up into the area. There's the potential for those downpours. Again, the forecast model, today's run, and the last 3 or 4 runs have all kind of agreed that tomorrow looks like we could get a little bit of a break with that flooding. And so we have the potential again for some isolated heavy downpours today. Like yesterday, it's going to be a lot more widespread. But look what happens as we go into Thursday. Thursday, again, looks like another beautiful start to the day. And then we're going to see again that potential as we go throughout your afternoon, evening. There is your evening commute again. We have south flow. We have a lot of moisture. We could see some more heavy downpours, and then that will wind down as we go into Thursday morning. So your rainfall forecast, again, you got to give that one a minute to fill in there. So today is the day where we have that slight. That's a level 2 out of 4. That is your area in yellow. That is where we have that flash flooding potential. The flooding potential pretty much anywhere within 15 miles of or 20 miles of anywhere you see that is shaded in yellow. It does go down as we go throughout Wednesday into Thursday. It's going to be more isolated. So again, today looks to be more widespread. Your rainfall forecast, this is for the Weather Prediction Center, shows another 2 to 4 inches possible. And again, that's widespread. That's what we had yesterday, 2 to 4 inches widespread. We just happened again to have that one spot where we got 10 inches of rain. That's more rain. That's what, 1 in a 1,000-year flood. And you saw some of that video that we just ran in the 11 where you had, again, streets flooded. It rains faster than, of course, the drainage system can take it away. We could see that same potential for the day today. And again, it does go down a little bit more isolated for tomorrow into Thursday. Therefore, we do have a flood watch in effect. This flood watch goes through 8 p.m. this evening again for that potential. Your rainfall rates, 1, 2, 3, maybe up to 4 inches per hour. So yesterday, that 10 inches was within 3 hours. That's a little over 3 inches per hour that one storm dumped, again, in Polk County. And so we could have that same potential for the day today. So there is your flood watch. Now let's look at a couple of flood warnings that we have across the area. We talked about this one yesterday, and this is for Horse Creek. And right now, and this is over 72, so at 12 feet, access road to Hidden Acres is impassable. So it's at 6 feet right now. It's expected, again, Bankfull is 12, and it looks like the forecast tomorrow is for 12.8 to crest. Now that's a little bit better than what the forecast model was showing yesterday. It was showing 14 by Thursday morning. So here's another one, this flood warning here, and this is for Wednesday afternoon to late Thursday evening. This is the Little Manatee River at Waimama. This is on 301 and impacts 11 feet. River overflows its banks at 11, and it's expected, it's forecast to be 11.6. And then this one up near Fishhawk is same thing. This one is, let's see, for Wednesday, tomorrow morning through Friday afternoon. I think, Mike, do you have some of these rivers that we're talking about? We're gonna, I don't know what you want to start with, but we're talking about the potential for flooding, and so.
Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, let's take over. You talked about that video we wanted to see, and there it is, James. We're talking about Plant City, and we called it a 1 in 1,000 year flood, and a lot of times that's misinterpreted. That's a 0.1% chance of that area in particular, okay, in Hillsborough County where we had that flash flood warning, a 0.1% chance of seeing 10 inches of rain in that 3-hour period. So just think about that. Yesterday, really a lot of folks said we have never seen water that high on, you saw Water Street, and there at the park there, you can see just inundated with water. And unfortunately, as we were talking about well beforehand, we were concerned about flash flooding. And once again today, I agree with you, James. I think there will be some isolated spots, unfortunately, where we could see several inches of rain per hour. So we're showing you this video to keep you prepared for what could come this afternoon. And another reason why you want to have another plan, an alternate plan on a day like today, stay weather smart. Not only are we talking flash flooding, but we had lightning strikes last night, Pasco County. So I was in Pasco County. That thunder, amazing, just shook the house where I was. And we had vivid lightning, up to 2,000, 3,000 lightning strikes per 15 minutes. And unfortunately, yeah, we had a house hit by lightning there. So what I always tell folks, make sure when the thunder roars, you head indoors. And really the safest place to be in your home, it's toward, yeah, stay away from the window, stay away from the porches, because you're even in danger there. That window won't protect you. So yeah, as a meteorologist, a lot of times I like looking outside, but I safety first. I try to get in my living room away from those windows and let the storm pass. So the big thing folks need to realize is when you're struck by lightning, a lot of folks that get struck by lightning, it's not even raining outside. It's well ahead of the storm. So you're looking at these massive clouds yesterday in Pasco County. Dark, you hear the thunder in the distance. It almost sounded like dinosaurs coming. They sound like thunderous roars in the distance. You think you're okay, but unfortunately those cloud tops are up to 45, 50,000 feet, and that lightning actually will strike well outside that thunderhead. It can travel as much as 10, 15 miles outside that main cloud, that cumulonimbus cloud. So some amazing video there. I want to thank Chris, our director, for pulling that up. And the reason we're here today, of course, we're keeping you and your family safe. We're doing some extra streaming shows like we said we would. Whenever there's weather, just turn on 10 Tampa Bay Plus. Tell your friends and neighbors, we're here. We're here to keep you safe. We are your station, your local station. We're your weather channel. We live here, right? Okay, so we take a look at our videos, our Weather Watcher video and pictures here. That's from Tampa storm. He does a great job. He's always out there taking pictures. So you see that little QR code on your screen. If you have your camera, you can actually just scan some of your pictures to us, and we'll share them live here on the streaming show and our regular shows as well. I mean, that'd be wonderful. So send us your photos, your video, and we'll share. That's what we call a shelf cloud there that we saw yesterday. They put down some wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour. And of course, we were talking about that isolated tornado in Hernando County. The National Weather Service is checking out. Really, it was like 2 thunderstorms. A lot of the big question I get sometimes at school talks, what happens when 2 hurricanes collide? What'll happen? Usually hurricanes do a dance around each other. They don't collide. Okay, they do a little Fujiwara is what we call it. But thunderstorms can collide. And when you're getting big, massive thunderstorms with cloud tops of 40, 50,000 feet, that can add the extra rotation. That's why we saw the problems last night in Hernando and Pasco County, not just with the flooding, but the severe weather, rotation, and thunderstorms. So again, we're looking for your Weather Watcher pictures. And today, what you need to know, today and tomorrow, we're going to have a couple more active afternoons. So we got James here. We're here as a team working on all the latest models, looking at that radar minute by minute, and heavy rain, flooding, severe weather once again, like we saw yesterday. And we will continue to stream with you until we can give the all clear. So latest Futurecast, some of the new modeling data we're looking at, we're pretty confident. We have a high confidence of what's happening, that the storms are coming later this afternoon. So you saw the wind aspect of that. The severe weather will hit, I'm thinking, between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. We've already had flash flood warnings in Orlando. We have had 3 to 4 inches of rain per hour in the Orlando area already. So already some flash flood warnings. That is what is moving our way with this big swirl. You can see the low pressure clearly on the map. So it's going to cross, yes, just north of I-4. But as James was pointing out, don't get too focused on the swirl. Even though it's going to add some extra rotation, you're going to have plenty of heating to the south. So really, all of us have got to watch this carefully. And really, the last couple runs here shown really some of that activity bubbling up even farther south. So it's really not just north of I-4. But if you look north of I-4, since we do have that low pressure in the area and that tropical low, could have extra rotation in that area. And I can't rule out, yes, another possible severe thunderstorm warning or 2, and maybe an isolated tornado. So that's what we're watching. In fact, it's going to take its time. Hopefully I paused that for you so you can see it coming in about 3, 4 o'clock, especially as you get toward Lakeland, Plant City by 4:30 like yesterday, right in that 4 to 5 p.m. time frame. And notice it's lingering all the way through 9 o'clock, and you've got that bright reflectivity. You see the brighter colors there. Okay, that's telling us that we got plenty of lightning in the area, plenty of heavy rain, and again, watching for that severe threat. And things will probably not cool them down until a little later than last night. All right, so there's 11 o'clock. And as we look at the latest zone forecast where you live, just trying to break it down, knowing we're thinking about you, Brooksville, Crystal River, Hudson. I know Brooksville, that sky was scary last night. I mean, we had that severe thunderstorm warning. You had the bow echo. You had the 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. And I showed you that low coming across today. That could give you a couple more bow echoes. So that's why I have that threat of flooding, gusty winds, and maybe an isolated tornado. Tough travel. If you can talk to your family, try to stay off the roads, between 4 and 9. I know it's tough. Not a good time to travel. We go to the south toward Tarpon Springs, Carrollwood, and Tampa. Had a lot of standing water even toward I-75 this morning in the Carrollwood area when I was driving into work. The ground is saturated. It's not going to take much for some flooding and flood advisories today, maybe even some more flash flooding. So keep that in mind. I got 5 to 10 o'clock as our main threat times. Pinellas, Hillsborough County, and we're not forgetting about St. Pete, okay? And again, just keep your guard up for all weather hazards, okay? And we're going to be streaming here on 10 Tampa Bay Plus. To the south we go. We're talking Sarasota, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch. You're saying, okay, it's going kind of a little farther north, but we're going to be focused. We got the flooding, lightning threat like last night, and at least 1 to 2 inches of rain, okay? In spots. So delays likely, and we're going to be streaming here. So watching areas like Duet, all the way down to Venice and the I-75 corridor. Really tough travel in this area, especially between 5 and 10 o'clock. Now, as we go a little farther inland, these areas will see rain sooner this afternoon. So our Chief Meteorologist, Bobby Deskins, will be in here shortly. Some of the first areas he'll talk about for some of those strong storms or some of the downpours or maybe our first flood advisories would be areas like Polk County. Okay, a little farther inland, we're watching Avon Park, Lake Wales to Lakeland. And again, very heavy rain. We've already seen the 2 to 4 inches of rain per hour, so this is just an average on the rainfall. That's moving your way, Polk County, okay? And then lightning and flooding as well. Some very tough travel. So overall, again, that's why we have the weather impact alert today and tomorrow. It looks like as we feel the tropical influence of this thing, we're going to see rain estimates like yesterday. You see this big red dot. That's the 1 in 1,000 year flood we just showed you, and some incredible rainfall totals up to 10. I saw a couple spots near 12 inches. One trend in the rainfall, latest model data in, is showing again large swaths of very heavy rain for us the next couple of days. But notice we've got a stronger area of low pressure, probably more likely a tropical storm Dexter trying to form as we go into the Gulf. As this moves over the warm water over the next couple of days, okay, it's going to gather some steam from that warm water. We'll take a look at these water temperatures coming up, but you can see the heaviest rain now is starting to shift more toward Louisiana, toward New Orleans, watching Baton Rouge, okay? We got Nicole, we got B.R. Bryce's mom out in Louisiana, so we'll be in contact with her and just check on her to see how she's doing. We'll check on your family and friends on how they're doing. As far as why we have so much tropical moisture, well, you can see the stream coming in, okay, from the deep tropics. This thing's just grabbing everything it can. As this low pressure moves across and gathers steam, you've got some moisture values up over 2 inches. And James, as we look at this every day, this is one of the tools we use as meteorologists. When you see 2+ inches, the air usually can squeeze at least 2 inches of rain out over a certain spot is what that means. But when you get these trains of rain and a tropical influence like we're seeing here, this will drag in even more tropical air over that 2 inches, and that's how we can get those 3-4 inches of rain totals per hour. So we'll continue to watch it, of course, this afternoon. And also coming up, we'll get back to James. We're going to take a look at the latest Colorado State University hurricane forecast as well, and what that may mean for the rest of the season.
All right, well, let's first talk about this one. Then again, what you and I talked about is all that tropical moisture this brings. That's why we saw the heavy rain yesterday while that low was still offshore. The low is onshore, and like Mike said, so what happens when you have a landfalling tropical system, or even, again, like I mentioned, just a low? It's that circulation around that low, and it's the friction on the ground that causes the potential for a tornado. So again, it could be isolated. It looks like the best chance is north of I-4, maybe up towards Citrus County, because that low is in the process of moving its way across Florida right now. Now, your tropical update, 40% potential over the next 2 days, 40% over the next 7 days. Not expecting anything to happen for the day today because, of course, it's over land, but it will be back offshore as we go throughout later on this evening. And we mentioned this yesterday. We mentioned this day before. Actually, been talking about this since the weekend, that the forecast models, all of them are the same. I mean, whether it's a little to the north, a little to the south, they're all going west. So there's your tropical update. And again, not expecting any kind of update here coming up in the early afternoon. Another update late this evening might see a higher percentage of that. So look, this is Invest 93. As Mike mentioned, I think more than likely this one's going to be Dexter. It should be a tropical depression, I would say, probably by this time tomorrow, and could be a tropical storm, which of course would give it the name. The depression doesn't get the name, but the tropical storm, it looks like it's got a bullseye right there on New Orleans, and luckily it's not going to be out over water long enough to become intense. Now, we have seen these before. I mean, you even go back to Michael, and you're looking at from a tropical storm to a Cat 5 in 1 day. So we have seen this in rapid intensification from these things. Now, Michael's talking about water temperature. We're in the mid 80s in the Gulf. So again, we could see again this thing strengthening up a little bit as we go throughout the remainder of the week. So let me show you this. So there is the low over land. Again, it's pushing out over right now, and this is going to be through the rest of the day today. It is going to slowly push its way out, and look at this, by 8 p.m., it's already looking like it's offshore. This is where we're going to start to see, again, the potential for becoming better organized, maybe strengthen up a little bit, and I would think that by early tomorrow morning, or maybe even by mid-morning, that this one could potentially be a tropical depression. We're going to be on the backside of this. This is where I was talking about that shift. We're going to get that tropical moisture circulating around up from the south, which is why we still have a weather impact alert for tomorrow, because we're still looking at the potential for that heavy rain. Now watch it slowly push its way up, and it looks like it heads right towards New Orleans, Lake Pontchartrain. And this, again, this is Thursday, early Thursday morning, and it looks to be right off the coast by 8 a.m. on Thursday. We still have that large area of circulation. We still have all that moisture coming in. It'll be coming in from the southeast, but we still have, again, those high levels of moisture in the mid-levels, which I'll show you in just a second, which again, Mike just showed you as well, which is why we're still expecting that heavy rain for Thursday, but it's not going to be as widespread as today or what we had yesterday, which is why we don't have a weather impact alert just yet for Thursday. We'll see what happens, because if this does happen to become a tropical storm a little sooner, of course, the stronger the low, the more moisture it could pull in for us, and we might extend this weather impact alert through Thursday. But as of right now, it looks like Thursday is still going to be a little bit more isolated with the downpours, and there we go throughout the day. On Thursday, it does push its way inland and then move its way up towards north. And that's what we're talking about, like Friday and into the weekend, where we're going to get back to normal for our weather. So look at your mid-level moisture again all the way into Thursday, then it does start to go back down. So that's where we're going to see our rain go back to what we consider normal, which is still some heavy downpours, right, Mike?
Yes, for sure. So that's a lot of moisture. Nature's just juiced up. So this is why we've got our weather impact alert, watches versus warnings. You got flood watch versus flood warning. What you need to know, we already have that flood watch that James showed you. So think of the flood watch. We're watching things carefully. This is when you talk to your family, when you're going to be driving, when you're picking up the kids. What's the best time to do that? When can we run our errands today? This is where we're really paying close attention to the weather. But once it goes to a warning, we're at war with some of the warnings. So think things are happening. Okay, so we've got the flooding that's been verified across the area. It's occurring, it's imminent, and don't drive through those flooded roadways. So when we got that rain last night of 3-4 inches of rain per hour out in eastern Hillsborough County, we went to that flood and flash flood warning. Okay, and that's when you know you need to turn around, don't drown, or not even, best yet, not even go out. Okay. When in doubt, sit it out when you're seeing these big storms cross the area, especially today. So we're talking about not underestimating the power of water. Usually you think of big storms, you think of the wind first. Water is so much more powerful. It's over 100 times more powerful than wind. We saw that in the hurricanes last year with Milton, with Helene, and keep on. Yeah, we talk about this water covering the road. Sometimes you say, oh, it's not going to be a big deal, but just 6 inches of fast water can knock you off your feet. And then, 12 inches of water can carry a car away. And there's big trucks, SUVs. They don't stand a chance against nature when it comes to these water and these flood events. We're talking 18 to 24 inches that could carry that vehicle away. So again, we're looking at the flooding as an impact. Remember your lightning safety. And James, so often we say, when the thunder roars, head indoors, just don't get caught outside. And when you're talking about thunder into the distance, you even seeing the flashes of lightning, you really want to get in. You want to get inside, okay? As we look at the hurricane frequency now, so we're going to transition a little to our hurricane season. We're still in the very early stages of it. So we could possibly have Tropical Storm Dexter a little later in the week, but keep in mind, this is a tune-up. This is just a reminder that we need to make sure we have our plans in place. Know our zones, know our risks, know our homes. Know your insurance policy. Any changes you need to make has to be made now. So as we look at that overall hurricane forecast, we did get an update over the last couple of days from Colorado State. So averages, 14, 7, and 3. There's your named storms, hurricane, average, and major hurricanes. Okay, and then latest update right here in this column. They dropped it by 1 storm. So it was 17, 9, and 3 or so we're down to about 16, 8, and 3. But again, what our team focuses in on is impacts, all right? Now, just a reminder to be ready for the season. So you see all these numbers, don't let them scare you. We treat every hurricane season the same, but the reason why Colorado State backed off just a little bit, at least we're not talking about the super hyper numbers that we were sharing last year, but as we take a look at what's going on, there's going to be a little bit more wind shear in the Caribbean is what they're thinking. So again, these are like very efficient heat engines, these tropical storms as they develop. Okay, think of this as a chimney at the top of the storm here. And when you're getting more wind than normal in the Caribbean, that tends to blow the tops of those thunderstorms off before they can organize around a center of low pressure. So we've got the warm water at the bottom levels, but just keep in mind, we're not going to have high wind shear all season long in the Caribbean. They're just saying some increased wind shear that may give us, a little bit less activity. But again, we're not going to we're not going to take that to the bank. The only thing we're taking to the bank is to be prepared for this hurricane season. We take a look at our water temperatures, and yes, plenty of warm water. So what our weather team's watching, will this tropical low crossing Florida today develop into something? It very well could. I mean, we're talking some extremely warm water temperatures you normally see in later July and August. So as we take a look at the 25 hurricane season, we've got the 3 so far, and maybe some Dexter there on deck, James. We don't want to go too far in that list.